Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of OS Talk. This is our second live recording. Hooray! I'm gonna clap.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we have my co-host with us, Charles445, and our
Heyo.
interviewee today is Daru.
Hello, I'm Daru.
All right, and for those who might not know a little bit about Daru, you should, because he's been everywhere on this game. There hasn't been a section of this game you haven't seen that he hasn't touched at some point. Like, not to say he's done all the artwork for the fancy circles. That's another person that we might try to get to at a different time, but he is what makes Pippi look as cute and adorable as she can.
Yep, I'm the one who draws all of the pixels for the Osu.
Draws
For
pixels?
the Os. Yeah,
I believe you place pixels down.
I'm a digital artist. I make pixels for Os.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And we do have a couple questions for you, well, more of talking points. And the first thing we have to ask is, how and when did you find out about O's?
Well, I found out about Os around mid 2008 or early 2008, sometime around then, and it was because I was looking for actually a taiko simulator or a way to play taiko on my computer, and I found the videos on YouTube of Os Taiko, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool game. This looks like a pretty cool Taiko emulator. So I went and downloaded it, and after that, I kind of just fell in love with Os Standard, and I played Os Standard for like a long time. At the same time, trying to contribute to the community with my art and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
go ahead,
I
Charles.
want to point out that I was there when Daru was pretty active in like 2009 or so, and Daru was definitely considered a professional player at the time. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think my so-called like crowning achievement or so would be I placed number 1 in one of the monthly rankings. I think it was like November 2009 or October 2000, something like that. So yeah, you guys can look it up if you're on the host site.
Yeah, and one of my questions is, you said that you found it while looking for Taiko. So did you have any prior experience to Elite Beat Agents or Ostakade Ondan beforehand? Or you were just like, well, I don't have a flash card for my DS, or I can't do the bad things that I do with the DS to get the games that I can't get, and you were like, so I'm gonna just check that out. And there were other Taiko computer simulations. So do you think it was just like off chance, or do you think it was destiny that you found O's?
I guess you could call it destiny, but when I was looking, I remember there being a lot more OS videos than there were any of the other Taiko simulators. So there's that. And with regard to whether or not I had seen Elite Beat Agents beforehand, I had actually not. When I was looking at OS, I thought it was a completely, like a new game.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was only later when I was like in, I think GameStop or whatever, some store, and they were demoing Elite Beat Agents, and I was like, oh, this is what it was based off of. And then from there, I mean, I just loved playing it because it just felt like really good to play on my tablet. It felt like a really like native game from a tablet at the time, so that's why I just kind of kept playing at it. I played Taiko like 2 or 3 times, and then stopped, and then started playing Os Standard for forever.
It's really amazing how you can have a original goal in mind for getting a game and then completely change your target once you actually get there.
Well, I mean, when
Yeah,
the target's obviously better.
Hey,
Oh.
no, we don't want to start
Oh.
that.
The Taiko community is gonna be.
Oh, they're gonna get you.
They're all good.
They're gonna Dawn and Cat you to death.
But I mean, I play all the game modes. I'm terrible at each one equally, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But so moving on a little bit, what got you started in art design? I mean, why is it that you do the things you do so well?
Oh well, I mean, first of all, thank you for saying that. Second, I started doing art, like everybody else did, like in school, just doodling on pieces of paper. And I found a group of friends in, I believe, elementary school, where we would draw anime. We would draw like anime style drawings of course, like, you know, we were like 5th, 6th graders, so we were all like, oh, look at this cool drawing of Goku that I did. It's so good, isn't it? Oh wow, it's awesome. And I would look back to those now and I'd just be like, that's a 6th grader's drawing. But
hey man, in 6th grade I was drawing stick figures. Consider yourself lucky, man. I didn't get good with art till about high school.
But yeah, actually that kind of ties into what happened with me, because I would just doodle and I would just draw without any kind of motive or desire to improve, I suppose. I would just kind of draw for the sake of drawing. And then when I got into middle school, and rather towards the end of middle school into high school, I started really looking at my art and really thinking, what can I do to improve? What can I do to, looking at my art with a critical eye and thinking about what I'm doing wrong, how I can improve, and all that kind of stuff. So I started picking up some books on light theory, some anatomy books, stuff like that. And from there, I think throughout high school and college, I've just kind of been self-teaching myself and constantly practicing to kind of get better and better at art. I still think I have a long way to go, but I think that's just kind of part of the learning process, to always be able to see something wrong with yourself or something wrong with what you do, so that you can address it and improve it and just keep moving forward.
Man, personally, I feel like that's the hardest thing to start out with the learning process, is realizing that you have to look at yourself in a negative light to at least be able to notice certain perfections that you may be creating, whether you originally knew about it or not, which usually happens when you're looking at older drawings. And, back then you would say, oh, this is great. But it's something that you develop as you get older. You start to realize that you can actually critique your own self and try to improve with those notions.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely look back on stuff, even from last year or a few months ago, and I can see things that are wrong. I'm sure Pepe is familiar with some of this. That I'll upload a drawing. I'll upload a drawing, and then for him to incorporate onto some space on the site, and then I'll come back 2 weeks later and be like, the chin looked weird, so I gave you a new one, and then along with that, there's 20 other fixes here and there.
And shoe color. Let us not forget shoe color.
The shoe color.
But
are you talking about CTV?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I gotta ask you something. What does shoe color have to do with something where people are looking at the top of the screen?
Your guess is as good as mine, to be quite honest. I was just kind of
extra polished, super detail. Nothing goes to waste. You
I was
want the
just kinda
best character possible.
He's like, oh, you want shoe color change? Let's change shoe color. I mean, what can you do?
Make it blue.
Well, I mean, what ended up happening was I had I think, I mean, as you tried to put the concepts up with the original colors, and then when I went over it, I was just like, maybe this could look better this way, and then I made all those changes and pushed it.
Yeah.
But and then the feedback started coming in from you and Pepe and stuff like that. So that's just part of the creative process.
Yeah,
but,
Go ahead.
But I mean, the idea that it was the shoe color was one of the things that was decided to be changed back to the original color, but it actually for the CTB you can't even see his feet.
Nope. He's got a whole lot of no feet. But no, with the whole critiquing thing that you were talking about, my whole idea of critiquing stuff is just wadding up my paper and throwing it in the trash.
No.
I am
that's
so short-tempered with it.
That's actually a problem that a lot of concept artists have, is that they've created this brand new character, but they don't like it, so they throw it away. But what really happens is that in the creative process, those terrible drawings are some of the ones that actually end up making it to the final cut because someone else sees something in it. I went through so many revisions with Yuzu before I actually decided on a base palette that was okay, and I threw away so much stuff that I wish I would have hung on to, just for the sake of hanging on to it, because I didn't know it was going to go that far, and it kind of did. It kind of went a lot farther, because now he's in the game. I initially was just like, oh cool, well, the idea to make a new guy, I could do that.
And then everybody was like, oh, it's kind of good. And Daru's like, yeah, I could fix it up and we could, make something of it. And boom, it happened. And I'm like, whoa.
And now we
I feel like that could continue.
Yeah, go on, yeah. Oh, well...
you're the interview.
I'm
You
the
get
interviewer.
privilege maximum.
But, I'm not sure am I allowed to talk about this? We have other characters, like, coming out soon that are going to be added to the game.
You're gonna want to keep the specific details of them probably private, because, like, if we're treading on territory that I don't even know about, right?
Yeah, well, I know about it, and as far as I'll let it go is stuff is happening.
Yeah,
things are being done.
Yep.
I've got a lot of stuff kind of in the works for in terms of illustrations for us.
Yeah, stuff. It's gonna be fantastic.
So all you guys should look forward to that.
I wanted to bring back as a number 2 real quick of the number 2 things of learning as an artist, because I feel like our first one was learning to be able to look at your flaws and improve upon them instead of just getting sad about it. And the second one would be to never throw away your learning. Never throw away the concepts that you have created as you have climbed up, because you never know when you'll find something you really like later.
Not only that, you'll never know when you need to keep it for a portfolio.
Oh no.
Like,
oh, that's the worst, like making a portfolio, because you have to go through all your old stuff, and because you can't just show like your latest greatest piece on a portfolio. You got to show like everything you've done for the past 2 years, and you're looking at some of the old stuff, and you're like, oh man, do I really want to show this to people anymore?
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And a lot of the stuff I've done, I really don't want to talk about. So I'm not going to. Shut up, Charles.
I will. I will shut up. But I have to laugh first. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so let's
There's some lore for you guys. Some OS lore.
Speculation.
But so let's move a little bit further. I feel like I might have said too much.
Continue.
Even to begin with, but
let's go.
How are you first contacted by Peppy with your artwork to be added to the installer? And a lot of people might not know that was yours, but if they read at all, there's a big little font right there. It's like art by Daru. So I mean, you should definitely
big font, whispered letters.
Well, it's a big little font. It's big, but it's little.
Big little.
Yeah,
because big little.
I mean, so how did that happen? How did that come to be?
Well, what happened was, so I posted that as fan art originally, and I was at that time I was like, hey, there's no fan art. I should like make some, or rather, I should use these skills, or I should use this tablet that I have that I'm using to play Osu for what it's actually meant to be used for. And by the way, that's why I have some YouTube videos of me playing Osu, and that's why I have like this ginormous tablet. It's because I actually use it for art and not for not just for Osu. But anyway, so I posted that as fan art, and then Peppy really liked it. He was like, oh, hey, do you mind if I use this in the installer? And I believe that was the first piece of my art to actually be incorporated officially in some kind of official media in OS. So, and after that, I think it was like a year ago, or yeah, it was about a year ago now that Peppy contacted me about being like the kind of official artist for OS. So, and then of course, like, that's awesome. I'd love to do that. So I jumped on the opportunity, and I'm here now drawing everything for drawing the image that you're looking at right now if you're watching the YouTube video, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, we got it over in TeamSpeak right on the right too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's right up there. Another thing is our next thing we kind of already touched and kind of wiped that out, which was future plans about stuff for the stuff. And I did put
I guess
a
we're
nice
not going
little
to
note. I put a nice little note. Let's not give away too much here. And I think we kind of...
I think you've already pushed the label on that as far as it'll go.
Yeah.
That's like...
Suffice to say, we have stuff.
Yes. So one of my things is what kind of other have you done any other artwork that you've had like featured anywhere? Not, it doesn't have to be like some big wig place, but like maybe you have a DeviantArt, or I mean, I don't know. Some people when you say DeviantArt, they're like, oh, that's cool, and other people are like, oh no, DeviantArt. So I don't know how you would accept that one, but do you have anything else, like other types of artwork that you like to show and stuff, not related to main game designs?
Oh yeah, I have. I mean, of course, I do like a lot of art for myself, just to practice, to improve. And if I have an idea in my head, like, oh, I want to make a piece out of that. So there's that. I do have a DeviantArt, and it's daru.deviantart.com at the moment. It's a DARUE.deviantart. That hasn't been updated in forever. Apart from that, I have 2 webcomics in the works actually. One of them is called Lit Sky, and that's basically like I've always wanted to make like a storybook, kind of like a pastel-y, like air of adventure kind of story, and that's kind of my attempt at it. And I put like a lot of work into each one of those pages, so it's taken a while to churn out, and I'm kind of on a break right now with it, just because I want to iron out a lot of the stories, a lot of the story elements for that webcomic. And I'm sorry.
Is that the one with the cats?
That's the one with the cats. Yeah.
Excellent. They're kittens.
Yeah, it's a comic about kittens because well, actually, because I love the as a kid I always loved to read Redwall, and if you guys don't know, it's about like
that's
it's like a
brutal
fantasy world.
book series.
Oh yeah, oh my god, it's
brutal.
It's a fantasy world where you have you know, like knights and like kind of that kind of feel to it, but they're all like animals, like forest woodland animals. And I always loved the kind of storybooky like juxtaposition of like innocence in there with some of the more I mean, as you put it, brutal elements of the stories. And I wanted to incorporate that into a story of my own, and you know, that's my attempt at it. Apart from that, I have oh,
I'm scared now.
But apart from that, I have a another webcomic that it's just me and my friend making stupid stuff. Really, it's called Dojananigans, and that's really just gonna be like a blog of us making stupid comics. It's nothing super serious, but hey, it's worth putting out there, right?
Oh, there's nothing
That's
wrong
a really
with,
good title.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with non-super serious. That's where some of the best stuff comes up, when you're all silly and goofy. I know a friend of mine, we tend to kind of have you ever used Open Canvas?
Oh yeah, with the sharing
with the net play. Yeah.
Are you actually gonna bring that up?
No, I'm not gonna bring that part up. Okay.
Okay, because Open Canvas is a wonderful tool.
Yeah,
used
it is
for
a
wonderful things.
Wonderful things. Why do you need to bring that up? Yeah, like by the end of
I
this,
have to.
By the end of this interview, I'm gonna get PMs going.
You're
like,
gonna get your inbox is gonna be flooded with like, what's Charles talking about?
So what are you drawing, Z-Trot? Maybe I can get in on that. But no. Anyways, so something that any aspiring artists that might be watching this would like to hear about, and I kind of would like to hear about it as well, is because I find myself many leagues under you, Daru. Whether you admit to that or not, it's just I want to be where you're at. I've got my own style, but your polish is just so much better than mine. So I want to kind of know what kind of software and hardware do you use? Because, I mean, I might be using the same stuff and it just might be the skill gap, and that's probably what it is. But ultimately, it can't hurt to ask.
Well, it's, I use, so in terms of the drawing software that I use Paint Tool Sai for the majority of what I do. I do my line art, I do coloring, I do shading, I do, maybe like 90% of my stuff in Paint Tool Sai, and I mean I just love the tool. It's lightweight. It's so I mean not lightweight. It's so bare bones, but what it's missing are all the things that it doesn't need that would slow it down like I would see in Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 10% is actually Photoshop. That's for doing the fancy layer transforms and stuff that that Paint Tool Side just can't do. Like Paint Tool Side lacks a text tool, for example. So I hear they're adding a lot of stuff in the next version, but that's apparently in beta right now. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
I kind of in terms of that, I used to use Psy a lot, but I've kind of moved more over to Manga Studio. And in terms, I'm gonna spoiler, but not really spoiler, that stuff that we were talking about, as you know, Daru, that was done in Manga Studio. So.
Oh yeah, Manga. I mean, I've played around in a bunch of different programs. Manga Studio. I mean, I feel like they all have their kind of purpose.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, strengths and weaknesses. Exactly. But for me, just kind of for painting in general, and for kind of drawing, illustrating in general, I really love the way that Paint Tool Side is laid out, the features that it has, and as well as the features that it lacks. Like, I love that it cuts out a lot of the bloat, as you would. But that being said, I really do think that that's something that you yourself as an artist has to decide. You have to survey. You have to not pirate all of the programs that you have available to you, like Photoshop, the Manga Studio, Paint Tool Side, and you have to decide. You have to try them all out for yourself. Autodesk Sketchbook, stuff like that, and you have to figure out which one really works for you, and you can't. And you shouldn't, and I mean, I can give a recommendation, but I don't think that anybody should be bound to that recommendation because everybody works in a different manner.
I agree.
People recommended me tablet, and I'm like, no, I'm going to stick to mouse. Look at my drawings, they have bad lines. Yes.
Well, I actually know, I know some artists who are actually very good with just using mouse. They don't do a lot of the Illustrator-y work.
Actually,
but it's more like vector work and stuff like that. But they make very, very nice art with it.
I was meaning to ask, are you more of a rasterized or vector user?
Oh, I don't use any vector at all.
Oh wow!
I really should. I
mean,
yeah.
You really don't have to. I mean,
Freehand
they both work great.
No, I mean, like, I know all the benefits. I know they're all there, but as of right now, raster just works for me. Because what I do is I have a 4K monitor, and using that, I can just kind of get like I can just work at like ridiculous resolutions and not really lose too much desk space.
Jelly.
You get a real painterly feel, like so it was really truly hand drawn when you're using rasterized too.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like merging vector where its strengths lie, and using the raster elements, you know, where it has its strengths, again with the painting.
Oh,
but,
hybrid of the two, excellent.
Right, like I've been meaning to really try out the vector tools for line art for the longest time, but I ended up, but I've never had like a need to, because raster like works. But I know that vector is like technically better for that. So I mean that's just kind of where it ended up. Yeah.
It seems like you found your personal solution that works great. So that's really good.
Yeah,
it just works.
It just works.
Okay.
But,
all right.
In terms of the hardware, I think I already went over. I have like a massive monitor, and that's something that I saved up for forever to buy, just to be able to do this. Apart from that, I use a 9x12 Intuos 3, which is it's like 7-8 years old now. It's insane how long I've had this thing, and I'm scared to upgrade because I don't want to put this thing away. It's so nice. It's been so nice to me, and of course for OST as well, I use it for that. Apart from that, like any decent computer. I mean, I have like a decent computer that I'm looking to upgrade, but that's not really as important as the artist tools, like the tablet and the monitor. So yeah.
Awesome. And the Intuos 3 has a really good pressure setting. I mean, a lot of people and it really kind of irks me just a little bit because I've messed with so many tablets, beforehand, and you hear these people like, oh, you should get Intuos 5. It has so many more pressure levels. And all the pressure levels in the world aren't going to do you any good if you don't know how to use what you've already got. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Like when I make recommendations, I always say try to find a secondhand Intuos, a secondhand Intuos 3 or 4, or like a 5 if you really can. And for those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with this, the Wacom recently rebranded their line. It used to be that Bamboo was the consumer level and the Intuos was the professional level, and that's what we're talking about, the Intuos 3, 4, and 5. And they recently rebranded so that Intuos was their consumer level and the Intuos Pro was their professional level. So we're talking about kind of or rather, the ones that I'm recommending are the used versions of the high end from like a few years ago, because you can get those really cheap. You can get those really cheap, but they last forever. I mean, mine is, it's been here. It's probably the longest lasting piece of hardware that I own. So.
I still have my Intuos 3. I just don't have a pin for it anymore. Yeah. Why you make me do those things I do.
We were talking with Jacka about breaking tablet pens, and apparently happens to Z-Trot too. Good to know.
Yeah,
anyway,
unfortunately.
I feel like we're reaching the end of our personal rope. I mean, I do have one more question, but then I think we should probably open it up to users.
Yeah, not a problem.
Alright, so I do have one more question. I wanted to ask this. You draw a lot of different things. I mean, if the Daru personifies thing thread is any indication, you can draw lots of things. Is there anything that you particularly enjoy drawing, maybe to call it your favorite?
In particular, I love drawing clouds. Clouds for me is just like, I just love all the detail that you can get in, all the colors that you can mix, and it just makes like for some fantastic, it just makes for a fantastic thing to draw, to get like, to get kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like, it's...
Happiness? Like Bob Ross?
I mean, like,
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross clouds.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
get a happy little cloud.
You can express like so many emotions through clouds, and you can use so many different color palettes. You can use there's so many different variations of what kind of clouds there are. I just love drawing all the different things that all of all of these things that come together into like such a iconic piece of any landscape. So
I gotta say about clouds, I feel like the reason they're so I guess sort of emotional is that oftentimes the mere positioning and coloring of clouds will cause emotions in people. For instance, if I've got a bunch of them clouded together and they're all gray, I get sad immediately because I won't be able to go outside for the day. It's raining. So representative of real world emotions. Alright, I feel like we should get some questions.
Alright, yeah, I've been kind of working on that a little bit in the background while you two were talking. And our first one is brought up here by Kiyanko. She's got a question for you, Daru, so we're gonna bring her down here and let her go ahead and ask. So cool. Here we go. And hello.
Trial.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hey. Okay, so considering you've been in the community for such a long time, how would you say the community as a whole has changed from when you first joined to how it is now?
I feel like that's kind of a difficult question to answer, just because I have like I think it's just my position in the community has changed, not so much the community itself. It's kind of hard to word, but when I joined, I mean, with any community that gets kind of small and grows very big, you get a lot of the you get a lot of the people who come in and just kind of like fool around more so than have like more mature conversation, which I suppose you can see in the OS channor, the main chat channel.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, everybody. But for
nothing,
me,
but
I'm
2009 didn't have the highest quality OS channel either.
To be fair, you're right. But but it was, I feel like it was small enough that I had, so in 2008, 2009, I had a lot of like in-game friends, and I would have a lot of people who would be like, oh, Daru, come over here and play some multiplayer with us. All right. And I have screenshots of some like awesome multiplayer matches. As we moved, like, as time moved forward into later years, and while I was still playing, I didn't really see too much of that anymore. I saw more so like just going into multiplayer matches and then just kind of like having your fill and then leaving. But again, I think, which is why I thought it was a difficult question to answer, just because I think it's more of my position within the community that's changed more than the community itself. Just like these changes that I've observed, stuff like that.
Alrighty.
So yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead, Kiyako.
I was gonna say I kind of understand like with Daru what he was saying with the more of his position in the community, considering since I had first joined up until April of last year, I was very active in playing, and then I quit for over a year, and I feel like I kept up a lot more with the community of the forums rather than playing, and getting back into playing over the past couple days, I feel like I don't know anything.
Yeah, right. That's
what are
totally
these
the same thing
slider stream jumps?
Exactly.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
For the
Thank you very
question,
much.
and we're gonna give you bruises now and throw you back into the other room.
Yes, we're tossing you out of the channel. Bye.
All right, and our next question comes from Pillow. He's actually recording in the channel above, so I don't know if that's gonna break him. But
There's a lot of people. Let's move and see what happens.
Yep, let's do that. Okay, hey, what's up, Pillow? So, go ahead and ask a question.
Alright, first off, how's it going?
Hey.
So, as both a player and a painter, what was your favorite moment as both sides of the spectrum?
Both sides of the spectrum. Well, as a player, I recall, I feel like there's a few moments. One, when I did win one of those monthly chart rankings, and you know that was an awesome feeling. But as a player, I think the best feeling that I've had is just playing multiplayer games with some people, some like super cool people that I've met online, and having just like a great time playing multiplayer games. And this was probably 2009, 2010. And I like I said before, I have screenshots of these just awesome multiplayer rooms. One in particular, it's like there was a room where everybody in the room was a top 100 player, top 100 world ranked player, which was super cool and like super fun to just like mess around with everybody like that. And as an artist, I think the best part of being an artist, I think, is seeing something that you worked so hard on and seeing people's reactions to it in game. I on the day that the new Pippi combo burst was finally put into the game, once everything was finished with it and once all the polish was put on, I was looking at the news feed or rather the changelog comments for that day, and people were saying like, oh, it looks great, it looks nice, and you know that feels like really nice to see that people really like what you do.
Well, that's great. I'm personally a big fan of your work, and I'm sure everybody else is too.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for your question, Pillow. We're gonna go ahead and throw you out of there, but before I do, I have to agree with Daru on the feeling great about stuff, because that recently happened to myself. Like, for the most part, it's been, I don't want to make a Bazzi trot, but I mean, like when we released, because I'm not saying just me,
Yeah, it was a big Daru and Zuchak comp.
Yeah, like when we released Yuzu, I felt great about that, and like I was pretty happy. I mean, yeah, of course there's gonna be people that are like, yo, what did you do to Ryuta? Why you kill him? No. And,
rest in pieces.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But no, it was still a pretty overall positive thing there. All right, so thank you so much for your question, Pillow. We're gonna throw you out the room and give you some bruises. So have a good one.
Adios.
All right, and then our next one is Brian O.A. Fun fact, Brian O.A. actually works on a web series comic for OS, so let's see what he has to say
Oh
to
man,
Daru.
we're gonna have 3 artists in here.
Yeah.
I got nothing of value to ask except, what do you eat when you draw?
Wow. Oh, I see where this is
Actually,
going.
I'm not going for the Vienna sausage.
No, that's actually a pretty
Just making
interesting
sure.
question. It's a pretty interesting question, because, like...
Because yeah, I mean, it's happened to me. I might be drinking tea or something, and I spill it over my drawing. It was really good, and I feel horrible. So,
oh yeah. I've been drinking tea and it just spills all over my screen, and then
How does it?
but-
How does it like vault out of
no,
the cup or
I'm
something?
kidding, like,
My tea. Oh no!
no, it's like you need to reach for the eraser or something. I don't know, and
Yeah.
yeah.
knock it over.
But,
If you were like penciling a comic, then for sure.
Oh, it's just
It's the worst
I still
feeling.
do a lot of traditional, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I do some traditional before too. I mean, rather, I currently do a lot of traditional as well. But actually, just to go off on a little bit of a tangent, an interesting story with that, I do so much digital now, that when I go back to traditional, a lot of the habits that I have from digital kind of creep in on me. So,
like your finger kind of like twitches for the Control Z or something.
oh my god, yes. So I have been drawing. So on my pen, there's like little the buttons for the Wacom pens, and I have one set to when I hold it down, I can drag across my tablet and change the brush size. And I've been sketching in my sketchbook with like an actual pencil, and I was like, I need to make this pencil. I need to do like this little detailed area. My brain automatically was thinking, oh, I should make the tip smaller. So I pressed the side of my pencil and then dragged it across my sketchbook.
Oh jeez.
So that, I mean, stuff like that happens, and I kind of like sigh really hard and think about that. Sigh.
Sigh, get up
Sigh.
there.
But anyway, going back to the original question, I do actually cook for myself a lot, because I'm in college right now. So when I moved from a dorm to an apartment, I didn't feel like paying $1 million for my meal plan. So for the past 2 years or so, I've been cooking by myself. So in terms of what I eat while I'm drawing, it's literally, whatever I have, whatever I've made that day. So, just kind of an interesting tidbit, I suppose.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you for the interesting question, Brian.
Sure.
Thank you.
And
Oh yeah,
we're-
I might have been mishearing you, but do I get roses or bruises?
you get bruises, unfortunately.
Damn it.
No roses
Depends
for
on.
you.
Okay, do you really want to land on the roses? I mean, they got thorns.
Yeah, I mean they've got soft petals.
But,
Well-
but
I'm fully
also
clothed, so it wouldn't hurt that much.
Okay. Anyways,
All right,
we'll
good
go
luck.
ahead and move you back. Enjoy your bruises.
All right.
All right. Let's see.
And punctures.
Whoops. Let's see. Is there anyone else that has any questions? Let's see here. Anybody? I feel that someone else said they did have a question they wanted to ask. I'm
Yeah,
looking
well,
here
now's
in
their
the
chance
chat.
to pipe up.
Yeah. Yeah, Kitoko, I do believe, had a question.
Oh, Nicholas has a question.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And Nicholas has a question, and Kitoko forgot his. So let's go
All
ahead
right.
and pull
So
in.
go ahead and ask your question in chat,
Um,
Nicholas, because he doesn't have a mic, or does he?
Yeah, Nicholas, do you have a microphone, or do you just want to type it out and we'll ask it for you? And this
Now we
moment of
wait.
silence.
This moment of
Suspense.
silence brought to you by text messaging.
Oh man. So we're kind of okay. Well, Kitoko Fox has his question.
While we wait for Nick, let's go get Kitoko.
Yes, I want to do this one. So
Are we skipping
Daru,
to Nicholas? Okay, we're doing Nicholas.
This is good, and then we'll bring Kitoko. So Kitoko, please remember your question, but this is great. Daru, have you read the Katawa Shoujo book thing?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I do.
Which
Why
which
haven't I
one,
heard of this?
I'm sorry. Which one is your favorite?
Katao Shoujo?
Which one's your favorite?
Lower nubs.
What?
Oh God! I was gonna say Lily,
yeah.
but
Okay.
No, they're all adorable and amazing and best girl. They're all best girl.
Oh man, Hanako.
Hanako.
Oh God.
That's bad.
Actually, maybe it
Please.
is. I don't know.
I wish I didn't. I'm like, that's not a character in the show. Oh no.
Okay.
That one took me a while.
All right. So
I mean,
now...
it was to be fair, it was a close call between lower nubs and bacon. So.
Oh God.
Okay.
I have not read these. I have not seen these, but I know who you're talking about, and that makes it even worse.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyways, let's move that to
go get
Kotoko Fox and
Kotoko.
let him get his question in here. So
Oh God,
we're gonna pull
this
him
is
down.
out there now, right?
Yeah, this is totally
this
out
is-
there. All right, Kotoko Fox, what's up?
Hey there, this is a question from a more personal one. I've always thought about art before, and I'm wondering, how did you get your start in art? What first inspired you?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I could say, I guess you could say the same, kind of calling back to what I said earlier about how I started in elementary school and how I just kind of continued developing from there. But I think I could probably owe my my start for art to like the group of friends that I had in elementary school, where we would all draw things. You know, we would all meet up after school and just get a bunch of pieces of computer paper and just keep drawing. And I suppose I can owe that experience, or rather those experiences, with kind of instilling that love of drawing in me. I'm sure that had I not had that, I probably would have gotten into it in some other manner, because I would draw by myself like quite a bit. But looking back, that's probably the experience that got me started, like originally. So yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And did any like fights occur from that? From all
Fights?
you drawing on the
Art
same piece of paper? Like
Art
Oh
fight.
no, multiple pieces of paper.
oh wow.
All
You draw
right.
Bionic Man A, and Bionic
No
Man
turn
has
to
to fight
draw
Bionic
ball.
Man B. The draw
Alright.
ball, the invasion of the Polish.
Oh boy. Okay, so
Oh no.
all right, thank you so much for your question, Kotoko. We're gonna go ahead and throw you back up there, and
Dodge!
Ooh,
Oh,
he made it out without getting
Ooh.
thrown.
oh.
He jumped over the
Okay.
fence.
So, unless we have anyone else that wants any more of a Mara asks, Daru, when am I getting my 0064 cents from making that comic trailer?
Oh, I was under the impression that you were going to monetize that YouTube video. So, I apologize for not paying you for that in advance, but all 20 views that trailer has gotten.
That was a trailer with the kitten pictures and the MLG headshots at the same time, wasn't it?
Yes, that was
Yeah,
that was the
very
one.
quality trailer. Clearly worth 0.064 cents. Definitely a work of art.
Okay, so do we have any other questions, or are we wrapping this one up today?
I don't know. I
And
saw
looks like-
I saw Jesse
oh.
sneak in. I don't know if he has a question.
He might have a question. Oh, excuse me. Got hiccups.
Bless you. We totally heard that.
Wait, what?
Okay, Jesse doesn't ask questions. He makes answers. All right, excellent then. I guess that's everyone.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out today and hearing us. And this has been pretty fun. So, all right, now let's just see. I'll go ahead and hit that big red button that says stop.
See you later.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much.
You always
Bye.
gotta say bye.
Yeah. Everybody have a good one. Laters.
Bye.
See you.